All right. Welcome to another episode. Peace, power, and love is always in greeting. And if you're liking the content, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all my subscribers thus far. Just appreciative also of my activatemedia.org family out of Boston, Mass. That'll um, get the rebroadcast on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. This one is another one that is kind of personal to me, what I want to talk about. And as you all know, I don't have much love for these police. And matter of fact, before I got on here, I just saw where the cop in the Breanna Taylor case, the judge ruled a mistrial. Didn't really catch why or what happened to cause that to be a mistrial, but I definitely be on that to dig a little deeper and find out what's happening with that case and why there was a mistrial in that case. Some of these cases, the majority of these cases are open and shut. Um, the Breanna Taylor case, another case to me that is open and shut, no need for a trial. Um, they served a no knock warrant uh, to the wrong address. The person they were looking for no longer even, didn't even reside there. But we all know what happened. Um, you know, her boyfriend fired, the cops fired back uh, indiscriminately. And, in the process of them firing back, they killed Breanna Taylor. And now, let's stop calling these things unalive. I don't know where that term come from, but let's call these murders what they are. They're murders. They're murdering us out here. And, we are defenseless. Or at least we appear to be defenseless. Um, and talking about that update, there's another update that I've been keeping up with out of Colorado, and I'm sure that you all have heard by now that the police, the cop that they decided to charge with manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide, which are two charges that lessen what really happened to Elijah McClain, another open and shut case of murder. Uh, and they give this cop his freedom. And it's just bothersome to me that these cops, are able to commit these crimes, commit these murders, kill innocent people, kill unarmed people, and they are still given the benefit of the doubt. And in the case of Elijah McClain, just another case to me, open and shut. And we've all saw the video by now, and how this young man was no threat to anybody. Hell, he wasn't a threat to an ant. And we saw and heard in this video, he's apologizing to his murderers. He's apologizing to his killers. And then a few weeks later, you got cops mocking what happened to Elijah McClain. These cops don't have any remorse or any sympathy when it comes to murdering us. They laugh and they joke about it. We are expendable. And I guess, too, another one of the reasons why I really kept a close eye on this case, and I'm keeping a close eye because the paramedics that injected him with the ketamine, uh, which caused him to overdose, they're charged with 10 counts, including manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, conspiracy, and there were a few more charges with the EMTs that arrived on the scene. And I'm just curious to watch how their trial plays out and what kind of verdict they will be receiving for their part in this murder. And that's what it was. Let's not get it twisted. That was cold-blooded murder. They had no reason other than what someone had assumed about this young man. They had no reason to bother him. But, in today's society, you have certain people who are so fearful for their lives that they just can't mind their own business. And they see a young black man walking down the street, minding his business in Denver, Colorado, where he's wearing a mask. In Denver, Colorado, the weather could require you to have on a whole face mask. It gets that cold in Denver, Colorado. Nonetheless, we all know the outcome. We watched this young man plead and beg for his life while we watched those coward cops take his life. We watched those paramedics assist in taking his life. And, I've said this before. I have a great disdain for Denver police, Aurora police, any of those police departments in the surrounding areas of Denver, because I haven't shared this story on my YouTube platform, but I had a cousin who my grandmother raised like one of her own, and I actually referred to him as Uncle Larry. But he was my cousin, but I still refer to him as Uncle Larry because of his closeness to, my dad and my Uncle Greg and my grandma. Uh, and every summer when I was in high school, I would go to Colorado during the summers, and my Uncle Larry and my Uncle Greg, it would be between those two would be the first ones over there once I touched down. When they knew I was in Denver, they were coming over to my Aunt Dear's house so that we could chop it up and so they could see their nephew and how much I've grown and all that other good stuff. But my Uncle Larry had a run-in with Denver Police Department back in the mid 90s. And at the time, my Aunt Dear was still alive, and she had actually sent me the article um, about what happened. And so the story goes, my uncle was minding his, my cousin uncle was minding his own business, and the police, as they do in so many cases, he was getting gas, about to get gas at a convenience store, and out of nowhere, here comes the Denver Police Department, like they do with black people. What are you doing? Where you going? And I'm sure, hey, we've all had our run-ins and our situations with the law, and just their approach and their demeanor when it comes to interacting with us is totally different from how they would interact with anyone else. And we've always been subject to their mistreatment. Uh, my uncle, cousin, getting gas, police pull up on him. He's kind of like me, no nonsense. And F the police, why y'all bothering me? I'm only trying to get gas. One thing led to another. Police ended up jumping on him, brutalizing my cousin, uncle, to a point where he was in ICU the whole time he was in the emergency room. And these cowards, after beating him senseless and beating him into a coma, had the audacity to handcuff him unconscious in a coma, no threat to no one, no threat to anyone at the gas station, just minding his business, pumping gas. And then the reason I say that his case reminds me eerily of Elijah McClain is because uh, with that situation that happened with him, well, the EMTs showed up, and instead of rendering aid, they assisted the police in brutalizing Larry. And like I say, they got him to the emergency room unconscious in a coma, and tubes running in and out and everywhere, and they still felt the need to handcuff him to the bed. And that to me is just excessive. What kind of threat is he now that he is unconscious and in a coma? And the crazy thing about it is nothing was ever done to those police officers that were responsible. Nothing was ever done to those EMT workers who showed up on that scene that night and felt it necessary to further aid the police in brutalizing my cousin. And what I have um, learned since then is that nothing ever happened to the cops that murdered him. Nothing ever happened to the um, paramedics that showed up on the scene that night and assisted in the brutalization. Um, and these are things that, have happened in my life that have fueled the fire and kept me um, fighting for what's right. These are the kind of things that have happened that will make you look at things differently. It'll make you think about things before you say them. It'll make you think about things before you do them. It'll make you more um, vigilant, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, more vigilant about your survival. Because I'm sure my, you know, cousin Larry was pulling over, get some gas, and maybe had a couple of errands or whatnot that he wanted to run, or maybe go by to see his daughter, or just whatever, but pulling over to get gas and his life ends pretty much right there, you know. And people always ask me why I, you know, have no regard for policemen. This is one of the many reasons why I have no regard for police. They have no regard for our lives. They have no regard for our existence. And I think if they could have it their way, they would much rather not even have us here. And I think that that is evident in what we're seeing take place um, in 2023. I talked about a case a few weeks ago, Yona Lubrin, and it's disheartening to me that only about 60 or 70 people showed up in light of a young woman being lynched, because that's what happened with her. You can't tell me any different. She was hanged from a tree, and then her vehicle was found a few minutes away from where she was hanged. So, I mean, what, and I'm giving you the different scenarios. I mean, what is she, drive her car away from where she was going to hang herself and walk back over there to hang and hung herself? And then the black suicide rate, not saying that we don't commit suicide, but we are the lowest percentage. That's just something that black people really don't participate in. is taking your own life, taking their own lives. Um, and it's just sad that from the mid 90s to 2023, here we have Elijah McClain, who really, his, like I say, case bears so many similarities to my cousin's case. And I guess that's what really drew me to Elijah McClain's case, and I guess too that's what really made me so angry as well about Elijah McClain's case, because my family had to experience the same thing. And to my knowledge, like I say, nobody was ever punished. Nobody ever suffered consequences behind his death. And there is no statute of limitations on murder. And I would really like to get with his daughters and kind of push the issue, and let's look into this a little deeper. Um, to have him taken in that manner, his daughters deserve something other than an explanation, other than an excuse. And that is pretty much all that was given after speaking to my dad about the situation a few months back. Uh, like he said, there was nothing done. It was pretty much swept under the rug, and life kept moving on. Like in so many cases, we're murdered and lynched, and then there's no regard, there's no sympathy, there's no remorse for black loss of life. And I even wonder how strong is most of our uh, people against, you know, doing what we're doing, and just continuously allowing them to do us how they want to do us. And I would really like to speak with my cousins, his daughters, to maybe try to push the envelope and try to get some justice, because we always say, well, continue to rest in peace. How is somebody so resting in peace when it was taken in such a violent and unnecessary manner? And then, like I say, we end up not getting anything that resembles justice. I can count on one hand how many times cops have shot and killed us and actually had to do time. And there should be hundreds. And that's why I say there ain't no such thing as a good cop, because a good cop is not going to participate in what the bad cops are doing. And a good cop is not going to remain silent on the bad things that may go on in their presence. It's not what a good cop would do, at least in my opinion. Now, there may be several different opinions about what a good cop is and what a good cop isn't, but I think we all know right from wrong. You know, um, then I want to talk about another. I call this lynching as well, because it was the equivalent of another black body unnecessarily taken because you feel threatened or you feel fearful or you just want to shoot your gun. And I think you just want to shoot your gun, and all the deer and such are becoming more and more scarce with the building and the taking of the forest lands. Um, anyway, just so many things that we're doing that we're not doing. And then in this case, here in East Texas, Hunt County, Texas, um, my stepdad, my old man, his nephew loses his life. Jonathan Price, the coward that shot and killed him, was Sean Lucas. And then in Hunt County, Texas, we have, well, we allowed, it was allowed in Hunt County, Texas. They were allowed to put together an all white jury. This is why I say we've got to start being there for us, because a lot of people that appear to be there for us, for our benefit, um, aren't really there for our benefit. And I kind of touched on this in a video a couple of weeks ago when I said we need lawyers that are going to stand up and fight for justice. We don't need these lawyers who will bypass justice for money. I'm more interested in seeing these cops getting 30, 40, 50 years worth of sentencing as opposed to no sentence and a few $1 million. And yeah, that may help, and definitely that is life-changing money, but all in the same breath, they have already changed your life. They took from you what you brought into the world. They took from you what you loved more than anything in this world. When a child is removed from our lives, when a mother has to bury the life that she brought forth. And I can remember during this situation and going to my aunt's home and really just feeling her pain, because I've lost a child, and that's a pain that no one should ever have to experience. And then especially when it's done by at the hands of one of these coward cops that, you know, falls under this qualified immunity statute that allows them to kill us with impunity and never face consequences. And in the case with Jonathan, unnecessary. You know, and then this punk Sean Lucas shows up, and he's the big tough guy. And there had already been talk around the town of Wolf City, in East Texas, small town, few hundred people residing there. There had already been um, talk about how this Sean Lucas was harassing and profiling uh, some of the black residents within the community. Just pulling them over, harassing them for no reason. You know how they do. You didn't signal 100 feet before you turn. Oh, I see you got a brake light that's out. Oh, your license plate light isn't. Just whatever, any little excuse. Oh, I smell marijuana in the car that they can come up with to allow them to overexert um, their rights as law enforcers of the law. Um, you can watch this video as well. It's on YouTube. I haven't watched it uh, in a good while. Matter of fact, I haven't watched it since they released the um, body cam footage because it angers me for one, just to watch Jonathan not knowing that these are his last seconds on this earth. And the reason that coward cop had been called to the store was because there was an altercation between two individuals that Jonathan helped to break up. He said that the store owner had called the cops, and then Jonathan shows up at the store and helped diffuse the situation that was happening. And when the police got there, they said they tried to explain that to him, but you know, these old arrogant ass cops, punk cops, are going to do what they want to do, and they're going to escalate with who they want to escalate with. And if you watch this video, he does just that. He escalates the situation with Jonathan to the point where he feels like he has to pull out his weapon and shoot him in the chest. And that's why I haven't watched the video again, because you're watching the life being taken. I'm mentally just I'm mentally bothered by how many videos like this are out there of us being killed by these punk cops. And in the case of Jonathan, um, no justice. An all-white jury let this coward Sean Lucas off from a murder charge. And now my aunt will have to live with that. Now, Merritt will probably get us some money, but Merritt ain't getting us no justice. Crump, that y'all like to call the America's Black Attorney General, he ain't getting us no justice. So how is he? Some of you niggas make me sick with how y'all will put people up on a pedestal and they ain't even done nothing to be lifted up on a pedestal. And Crump ain't getting us no justice. Merritt is not getting us no justice. They getting them some money, and they getting these families a little money. Hush money. As I stated in a video prior. It's hush money. Because you can no longer talk about your loved one that was taken from you. So I'm hoping that my aunt can at least get that since she can't get justice. So that's really all I had this week. I just wanted to kind of give an update about Elijah McClain, and then just kind of tie in why I have such a disdain for these cops. I've lost family members at the hands of these cowards. And it's sad that we never get justice. We don't get what we really deserve. The money is not going to bring back that lost life. And then we don't get anything that even resembles justice. And my thoughts and prayers are still with the family of Elijah McClain, still with the family of Breanna Taylor. We're losing our children at the hands of these coward cops, and they don't suffer any consequences. They don't suffer any type of justice. They justice just seems to somehow overlook these families. Justice just somehow seems to walk right by these families. You know, it hurts when you lose a child, and it really hurts when you lose a child and the system spits in your face. And then you couple that with these money hungry attorneys who rather have a payday than a payback. It's time for some payback. Damn the paydays. Yeah, that's all I got. With that being said, appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank my subscribers, like I say, for you know liking the channel. If you are liking the content, like I say, like, subscribe, share. Um, like I say, I'm just trying to change our minds. I'm not trying to change a lot of minds, but I'm trying to change some of our minds so that we can start moving different and start achieving different outcomes. Outcomes that are more beneficial for us. So, like I always say in closing, y'all, I love y'all. Don't have to know you to love you. Y'all, stay vigilant. And like I always say, let's plan, let's organize, let's unify. Because we all have a key right here and right here. I'm out. Peace, power, and love.